What the heck? All right. How about now? Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, I'm always going to be muted because if I'm not talking, then something's off. You have to check my pulse. But yeah, this can you guys hear me right now? Am I all right? This Weasley little dirt bag that I'm painting right here is is this vampire who makes off with 3 pages from this book that they now need in order to, get, their full evil plan in effect. All right, excellent. Thank you, Admiral. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for letting me know. It's why it's always important to check the chat because the chat is where a lot of the truth lies. And the stream sometimes is where a lot of the lies lie. I don't know. You never know. Um, so I started working on this thing and I started, roughing in that story. And I wanted to create this sense of this really, you know, weaselly kind of rat fink of a character in a sense that was responsible for he's like one of those petty little evil people that are in fiction a lot of times and they're done really well. Oh gosh, here's funny enough, another rat-like character in Harry Potter. The what's his name? Peter, is it Peter Pettigrew, that like weaselly little worm of a guy who ends up betraying his friends? Yeah, trying to troubleshoot audio while driving when I was finally like, it's Sean. Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be me, man. It's got to be me when it goes. Yeah, it's always the Weasels. What's up, Bogan World? Good to see you, my friend. Much love to the Bogans. Some of my best brothers in Comicsgate are Bogans, let me tell you. But it's one of those things to where um, there's the Weasley evil people, and I don't mean, gosh, now we're getting into some Harry Potter names accidentally. But to the people who are actually some of the nastiest little evil weasels that you ever see in storytelling. Yeah, morning, Rick Sailor. Good to see you, my friend. Um, they think that they're these all powerful villains. They're really not. And when you're in this world with them, in their little tiny little corners of the world, they seem all powerful. But the second you step outside and you get away from them, and it's why I always remember when it's a nice sunny day to keep those windows open. Even if it's cold, we enjoy that. We love that kind of stuff because sun is sun. I will take it any way I can get it. But these people always think that they're more powerful than they are until they get confronted by either really good, yeah, petty tyrants, Admiral Wackass. Absolutely, petty tyrants. Until they get confronted by actual evil or good. And so this character who's escaping with just a couple of pages from a book of knowledge, albeit evil knowledge, is just a lot like them. They've got a couple of pages of the story and they think they know everything because a couple of pages is all their minds can hold. And so, what I want to do when I'm working on this story is I want to talk about the full richness of good and the full richness of beyond the pettiness, because pettiness is one of the easiest things that's it's frankly more a more contagious form of evil than the big stuff that we worry about sometimes. And it's I think about that a lot, like just trying to protect our minds from the kind of stupid garbage that we see. The other day there was some news going on that I'm sure a lot of you guys know that had me feeling kind of down, and I was like, why is this having making me feel so down? It's not like I'm a regular reader of this particular character who will remain nameless, but it kind of disgusted me, and I was really frustrated. And then I realized something that I heard, which is the from Razor Fist, I think it was, perhaps, if I'm not mistaken. But he said the goal of propaganda is not to convince you; it's to dishearten you, and it's to demoralize you. And I said to myself, I'm not interested. I'm not going to let this stuff demoralize me. I'm going to get to work on putting something positive out there, positive work. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about comics. I love that, and I love about Comics Gate is we're really about the positive thing that we're doing. We're not trapped in that negativity. And so for every day that I have of my life, for however much time I have left, I'm going to spend it opening up those windows, opening up those curtains, whatever it is, letting the sunlight in. And that's an important thing for us to remember, is to let the sunlight in, let the positivity in, put good things into your head. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, or so Marcus Aurelius said, and I believe that he knew a few things. So make sure, even when you're illustrating the darkness, it's a way that ennobles you. It's a way that For me, I create these petty little characters as a way to kind of allow myself to laugh at them, to kind of find the silliness in them. What is up, Zabe Comics? My brother Phil. Phil, I was looking at your painting again this morning. I'm working on Nosfero right now, but I'm zeroing in on wrapping that thing up, so it's looking good. And we got to talk about our Pulp podcast, man. So let me know what your schedule is looking like once things sort of calm down at work, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, it's so critically important for us to stay positive and to make sure that we're creating the way that is going to bring us inspiration, the way that's going to, get us excited about what we have, because we have this really unique opportunity right now. I mean, Nosfero is closing in on 20K. I would have never believed it. It's got a ways to go, but it's getting there. And you guys are making it possible. You guys are making it possible. And I never forget that. And I'm the kind of person to where, excuse me, I was just watching Andy Smith, brother Andy stream earlier this morning, and I was thinking about it, and I was just thinking how happy I am to see his campaign. I think it's closing in on 40K, or maybe it already passed it. But it's really good to see good things happen to good people. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's all about positivity and love and art, because that at the end of the day puts more fuel in my tank than negativity. And yeah, I mean, it's all right to call, call something that's awful, awful. Don't get me wrong. Phil with two L's is always right. And when I did another version of Phil's intro for Comic Artist Pro Secrets, I actually had it where it said Phil Diaz, and I made sure I got those two L's in there. Always making sure. Two L's for a double dose of Phil, I guess we'll say, if that works. But yeah, I love the idea right now of doing this tall, narrow panel where you've got this oily, weaselly little, put your own expletive in there. It's a bit early for my expletives, I think. And he's just clutching these 3 pages of the book like he thinks he's just made it, and he's shipping himself off to go and start his own little cult of people who don't know any better, and make his own little vampire harem, so to speak, of fellow believers. And as a result, he's going to end up abducting, good old Nosfero, and allowing his followers, to feed on Nosfero. See here, we got Phil saying, it's so early for me. I've been passing out before midnight and waking up early. It's weird. That is the problem I've been having, Phil. I was doing so many late nights, and even my wife looked at me at a couple of days where I slept through the day. And Rob Arnold sent me a link to a stream that Michael was on, and I totally missed it because I was asleep. People were sending me links to streams. But yeah, I mean, my wife Lauren said to me, she goes, "Babe, I think your body is just course correcting. You can only take so much. You're going to have to get some sleep." So I had a couple of days of sleeping, and then I've been doing, early mornings now, because I just think that, it's when my brain is most active, and I'm, it's like beep, beep. I don't know how active it can be, but I was just burning the candle at both ends. And I think that was one of the things, like when you see, these are the layouts that I was working on earlier today. One of the things that, yeah, we are getting old. Don't tell Phil that yet. He's still got a few years left. I feel bad for Phil. I don't want to let him in on that too much. But this is one of the layout pages that I was working on, and you can see how rough these get, and the sense of play. Like, you've got this character right now, the same vampire character, once he gets himself established, and he is using this brush with this particular potion that he carries. And what it's going to allow him to do is paint down the center of a young Nosfero's forehead. And it's going to open a gate to something in his forehead. And that's what is going to be being restrained by that metal pin. And that's the thing that is going to be the source of all this power, this kind of evil. What's up, Megs Doodles? How you doing? I enjoy waking up early, but to do so, I have to fall asleep at like 8 p.m. Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'm increasingly concerned I'm going to be drifting into that 4 o'clock dinner territory. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, so the idea of creating this kind of vampiric world where you've got these characters is something that has been a huge part of the writing phase that I've been in right now, which is um, I'm really inspired by an overused term in many ways. Good morning, Miss Good Stuff. How are you doing? Um, and the whole idea of world building, I always think of it as this aspect of creating an immaculate reality, thinking about the side characters that can help to support the work and support the book, but at the same time aren't detracting from the story. And I think that for me, that's the stuff that you see me when I'm visually writing. I write in layouts. It's just it's how I think, and so you'll see me oftentimes just scribbling and sketching. And I'm hearing my wife and I were talking the other week, and apparently there was this. It's making the rounds. I know all of you guys have heard about it. But there was a study done about people who think in sentences versus people who don't think in sentences and all this other kind of stuff, and everybody was talking about it. And I got to tell you, I was thinking about that. I think in movies, I think in whole scenes, and so when I'm writing comics and I'm looking at all of this sort of stuff, one of the things that will always happen to me is I find myself thinking about the various scenarios, the various worlds that I'm imagining. So right here, I know that this panel is going to lead into another panel that's going to be that very same character kind of perched looking over this place that he's going to be going to spread his evil. Yeah, drink more Boba Fell. There you have it. Yeah, that's the key. Everybody's saying their hellos. I mean, I love this community. It's great to start your morning with a tall cup of Comicsgate. I'm telling you that right now. There are few better ways to start your morning. Um, and so for me, when I think about how to create this environment, how to create this space that we're doing, I just start out by kind of like just thinking about like, okay, well, so like, what's this? What am I going to create here? How am I going to make this be the environment that I want it to be? And so I start thinking about pictures. I'll tell you this much. One of my favorite. Let me see. Wait. Is this a stream where there are actually more girls to guys in the chat? Damn, Sean, if you bring in the girls to the yard. Yes, I've been accused of that, of bringing the girls to the yard. It's also because you ladies are up early, making things happen for us. That's what Comicsgate ladies are all about. That is why we love you guys. That is the key. I think it's because Phil's here, though. That'd be my guess. You never know. Um, but yeah, when I'm looking at this stuff, um, and I think about like what the environment's going to be, I think of all of those great sort of Hammer horror films and the little tiny creepy little villages where all this stuff would unfold and all of that kind of stuff. And for me, one of the other places I think about is, I don't know if any of you guys have seen this movie, but Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, which was very influenced by Hammer horror films, that had this really great little town that they built in the middle of nowhere. I think it was a few interiors, but it was mostly just facades. And they had a lot of down shots looking down into the Sleepy Hollow they built. And that is what I kind of want to do here. This is going to be kind of a down shot of, that environment. And if I got out a ruler and did the perspective that way, which is a totally legitimate way to build out your perspective. But for me, I'm always prone to, roughing the stuff in so I can get a sense of what it's going to be in terms of blocking in the set and blocking in the subject matter. But yeah, it's always nice to have ladies around. I mean, I got to tell you guys, if there's if there's one advantage I was explaining to my wife the other day, to being a guy, is how socially acceptable it is to walk into a room full of men and go, "What the heck is going on here? What are all these men doing here? We need some ladies in here. What the heck?" Um, Socially, it seems like it's harder for ladies to say that. Could be me, but certainly in media. And I think that's it's one of the best perks of being a guy there is to be able to walk into a room and say, "What the hell is going on? There's too many dudes in here." Hey, what's up, John? How you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. Yeah, the muted section cut out some of the catch up time. That's right. See, I'm here. I am here to save you time, my friend. And I hope you are staying gold this fine morning. I do believe that some things that are gold stay. And those things that are gold that stay are Comicsgate. There you have it. It's CG in the morning, folks. That's what we do. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing because as I look at as I look at work and I think about my characters and I think about how I tell stories, I've met a lot of interesting people in my life. I've met a lot of really cool people, yourselves included. And the thing that I love about it is that all of it is fuel, all of it is inspiration for storytelling. And it doesn't mean that it's a literal thing, but I see very few situations and circumstances that are just, one note, where it's just like um, one particular flavor of individual, flavor of food, flavor of weather, flavor of anything. And I want to make stuff that is really rich and brings you into different things. So when I do perspective and I'm putting in houses, yeah, I'm going to get some reference, but I'm going to try to make sure, and I'm going to do the perspective, but I want to make sure there's a little bit of idiosyncratic nature to the set design and the layout. The best example I can think of that was the way that the layout was designed in a movie called Open Range with Kevin Costner. It's one of my favorite westerns. It's got Bobby Duvall in it, who's amazing in it, and a lot of really great actors, and of course Kevin Costner and Annette Bening, and Michael Jeter, the late Michael Jeter, who did a really great job as Percy in that movie. And they built that town from scratch so that they could get the exact layout instead of just casting, the town and traveling around and try to take an old west town, because there were certain things they wanted, certain idiosyncrasies that they wanted, and that's the same thing. What is up, Rich Ayala? Roach Balls, yes, hail, and it's good morning to you, my friend. What is up is the sun right now in New England. It's freezing. It's about 13, 14 degrees outside, I think. But as long as it's sunny, I'm having it and I'm enjoying the sun. What is up with you, my friend? How are you? Hopefully everything's good when in your neck of the woods. It's not too rainy, and not too cold, and things are going well for you. And so it's like, showing the way, like when I go and I try to do this stuff, um, outside of the basic rules of, or the basic approaches to storytelling, I try to go a little bit high, wide, and stupid too, as I like to say, which is, I'm not afraid to go big and experiment with the idea of, okay, maybe I just want to throw a moon in there, a large moon, because I love putting in those little gothic elements of it. And those are the things that kind of inspire me. I'm feeling that New England bitter cold as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been wild though, because we've had a lot of warmth and rain up here, and I've been kind of, I'm not feeling it. I moved up here so I could get away from some of that stuff, and it's it's kind of nice. It's funny, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I might also play around with doing, because the time period of this story is a little further back. I'm doing it really as kind of a period piece in the same manner that Hammer horror films are. But I want those meandering cobblestone streets kind of quality. Like I'm mixing and matching a little bit of the historic periods just to give it that great, haunted kind of feel. And then, kind of showing how I can create, you know, kind of show the impact of this character coming into this environment. So we kind of look down and we see this character, at least in this take of the storytelling. I may change it. Oh my gosh, sorry, let me read this. Amanda B, it's 7, but feels like -2 here. Yeah, I think you need an even colder looking emoji for that one, because it sounds like it's pretty brutal. Let's see here. Meg's Doodles. A few days ago, it was in the 40s, and now it's in the teens. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I injured my left arm a while, like long time ago, like when I was a kid, and I've gotten to be a human barometer. I can tell you what the weather's going to be, and when it's going up and down like this, I feel like it's in a vice. It's just, it's annoying. Uh, Not the best time for the battery in my remote start. Yeah, 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 yeah. You don't want your remote start to die on you. That is not the way. That is not the way to do it. And yeah, it's crazy. But it's like when I'm sketching this stuff out, the coolest thing for me about making comics is one, the budget. So, yes, it costs a lot of time and it costs a lot of effort, and that is why it's so great and important for you guys to be backing Nosfero as amazingly as you guys have. It makes it possible to do this. But when it comes to the piece of paper, it's how big can one imagine? How big can one um, make for a story that is going to captivate the audience. And so I'm kind of lucky in that sense that I'm able to, have people who back the imagination and fund the ability to imagine these stories. And at the same time, for that, my goal is going to always be to try to make sure that I'm able to give you the most amount of bang for the buck possible, and that means imagining scope, scale, beauty, something that is a book that you're going to crack open and it's going to make you think about maybe getting out those paintbrushes, maybe doing some art, and also is going to inspire you to kind of just do the same thing we all did when we were watching Bob Ross, right? Is just kind of go into that creative zone. I still listen to Bob Ross whenever I need a little bit of inspiration. I mean, the guy is just he's a saint. He's positive. He's everything you need when you're needing some inspiration. And that's everything for me. That's the stuff I love. And so hopefully, I can give you guys a little bit of that sense, of how to get your inspiration going, in the morning with this kind of stuff. But yeah, I've been thinking about Michael Bancroft was talking about the other day about Comicsgate and um, J.K. Rowling as an example of things that one can do in terms of starting from nowhere and then building an empire, so to speak, of creativity and art. And it got me thinking about her, and I sent him a link to a video, J.K. Rowling, A Year in the Life. And it's amazing to think about that we start with this piece of paper, we start with these pens and a little bit of inspiration, and we get places from it as a result of it because of your inspiration. So Mrs. Goodstuff says, let's see here, Champ, how did painting become your preferred method? Let's see. I was drug kicking and screaming into it, which is how I imagine, frankly, I'll get to most things in my life. Like someone was asking me about, the whole, you know, spiritual thing one time, and I said, I know that when certain things happen for me, that's how it's going to be. I hated color, I hated painting, I wasn't good at any of that stuff, and it's kind of funny, I think sometimes you're just whatever it is, whatever that thing is, just kind of pulls you in the direction you're meant to be going in. And I just, started painting and I had this moment where it kind of just, it clicked for me. I saw somebody probably do a demo or something like that because I'd always seen Bob Ross paint. I'd always seen people paint like that, but it never felt like that when I painted. It was like a nightmare. It was like I would take out paint and I would spend a couple of hours using every color in the book to mix brownish gray blobs everywhere. And then I was like, well, that wasn't worth it. And then all of a sudden, it was looking at different materials and looking at different, I started playing around with Pelican Pan gouache watercolors. I started filling in drawings because I wanted to see things in color. And then sooner or later, it's like the training wheels. It's like when you're in the swimming pool and you take your feet off the ground and you just say, hey, I've got to go for it. Or even, we're teaching our kids how to drive right now. At a certain point, you can start to feel the automobile and you don't think about all of the different parts of it. And so I kind of just slowly moved into that. And it's the same thing with writing. It's the same thing with YouTubing. Um, I'm one of those people that, followed that same kind of that method that John Malin talked about, and he talked about kind of forcing yourself to do it until it becomes like second nature, and that's what I've been doing. I've been kind of gradually, letting the stuff kind of take over, and that's exactly how we got where we got. Amanda B says, "I don't either." Oh, well, let me go back up here. Let me see if I can see this here. Jen. I don't like the cold," said John, and then we have a response, which is, "I don't like the cold either," from Amanda B. But I would dislike the extreme heat more. I'm the exact same way. You can only take so many clothes off, but you can put tons on. Yeah. When I was a kid, we took trips to India because that's where half of my family was from, and you would there would be those moments in the midday in India where you'd get a brownout from, just the grid would go down. I mean, it was a terrible grid anyway. And you'd watch those, there's no AC, right? So you're just watching those, ceiling fans doing the best they can in a million-degree heat, just slowly, won't, 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 won't. And they stop. And it was terrible. It's like watching the propellers in Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom, slowly slide to a stop. No good will come of that. So yeah, so that's I'm with you there, but Admiral Lackass is saying, "Hey, I prefer the heat to the cold," and to each their own. To each their own. And so yeah, so I mean, this right here. You guys watched it sort of happen, in real time. The cold, and let's see here. Rich is saying the cold is tolerable when there is no bish. I got that one. Well, I'll translate it for you. When there is not as much wind whipping around, the cold is tolerable. But so this is the kind of thing, guys, when people ask me how quick does the process of roughing in the storytelling go, here you go. Here's your vampire, your Weasley little vampire coming into a town, looking over said town, and then leading like the Pied Piper, leading all his disciples to this new little lair, this dilapidated, abandoned little castle here, where he's going to form up his his little group, his little evil horde of petty little cultists, and actually I should say it goes to quite an evil level before he karma comes a calling. Let's see here. I refuse to use an AC because bugs always got in my room from it. So I have Meg's Doodles is saying I have a dehumidifier and 2 fans in my room for the summer. Winter winds are a horrible beast. Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first time I went out. Actually, I should say I grew up off the Great Lakes for a short spell. I did live in Michigan for a little bit, but I remember the first time I went back to visit Chicago. I think it was for a convention or something like that. And I'll tell you, man, that wind, it hits you and it just cuts through you like a hot knife through butter. I mean, that is some brutal, brutal wind. And it takes your breath away, as Berlin would say. And I mean, I don't know if I can take it as well as I used to be able to take it. I mean, although I will say this, that the more time that I have spent in New England, up in the Northeast, the more the heat has been able to take me out. I used to be so much tougher at handling the heat when I was growing up in Tennessee, and now it's like I go to Texas in the summer. If I go to Houston or Dallas, I just feel like I've lost my stamina for it. So, although I'll tell you, it seems like Dallas and Houston in the South is getting a lot colder than it used to be when I was there. They've had some tough. My mother-in-law and my brother-in-law down there have had some tough weather. All right, John is caught up now. Yeah, see, you can see. Hey, what's up, Oz Great Sage? Good to see you, my friend. And I love your icon as always. It's awesome, really cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's as you can see, there wasn't a lot to catch up on. I know it wasn't. It's probably a disappointment. But yeah, I mean, they've had some cold weather down there, and it was crazy to talk about that sort of stuff. Just going, man, you guys are supposed to be the warm spot I can go to when I need to get away from the cold. I can't have you guys getting cold. That's what we've got here. Yes, absolutely. Everybody's saying their hellos because that is what we do here. We say our hellos because there's something about it, as weird as it is, as weird as the fact that we're online is, there's something very oddly and beautifully neighborly about CG. We wake up in the morning, we have our coffee, we get in our cars, we heat them up in the cold, or we open up those doors and let the heat out in the summer, and we get about our days, and we kind of realize and we remember that it's a good day after all, and there's room to squeeze a little bit of inspiration in and kind of laugh at the nonsense. and that's how it works. Okay, so John says, so did you finish answering Miss Goodstuff's question about painting question? I don't know, because sometimes I just sort of trail off and vanish into a series of ellipses and italics. So let me go back to that. So I was in the art store at a college, and I just grabbed this random collection or this random paint set called Pelican Pan Opaque Watercolors. And one of the things about it it was really simple, and I could approach it in a paint by numbers sort of fashion. What I didn't know is that it was opaque watercolor, so it mixed well with gouache, and it allowed me to get this kind of really rich, kind of inky quality. And that was the start of, Sean the painter. I was a pen and ink artist for the longest time, and I had no thought that this is what I was going to do. And now it's who I am. I do this, but although I love acrylics and I love all forms of painting. But if you went back in time and you said, "Hey, what's the one thing you're not going to do as an artist?" I would say I'm never going to be a painter, without a doubt. Which is why we keep going, right? You never, guys, you know this. You never know what your future is going to hold, and there's amazing things. And it's easier as the older we get. There's a knock at the door, and you think, "Oh, here it comes." But sometimes I think it's important to wake up in the morning with a little bit of enthusiasm and think, you know what? Here it comes. Something cool might be around the corner. I just started learning how to play the violin a year ago. Been a lifelong goal of mine, and I found myself, actually being able to scratch out some Christmas music this holiday. And I think when the going gets tough, put some skills into your system, find a way to learn something new online. There's a lot of great stuff here, And good morning, Aldous, as always. It's good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Oh, frozen over completely. Oof, that's rough. That is rough. Yeah, stay as warm as you possibly can. Yeah, that bitter cold, guys. That bitter cold gets you. It's rough stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think of John was talking the other night. Malin was talking the other night. We have a lot of Johns. Obviously, John in the chat um, is the best John of the day. Until I watch Malin just comment or something and then say, "I'm in here too, man. I'm always watching, always watching." But he was talking about how long he spent trying to get into the industry and get into comics, and that um, I'm sure all those years when a lot of people stopped persevering and quit, John was chipping away, and he sort of saw John, excellent exclamation point. That's how you do it. John just kept going. He kept working. He kept putting that time in. And what I was really kind of touched by was when he was talking about his wife and his family supporting him while he went out to the West Coast. And I would say that everybody who's ever supported John in his life on this quest to do this thing that he's passionate about has been very well rewarded, and has been proven right. That don't ever count out the coach, and don't ever stop believing. And I think about the things that fuel me in the morning and the things that inspire me are all of the things I believe in. And I'm all in on people, even though we've all had our experiences with negativity, but I'm all in on people. I'm all in on this country. I'm all in on heroism, which is why I'm doing the supernatural hero pulp comic here with Nosfero. And I've seen too much good in my life, and I've seen too many good things to ever be able to stay negative, and cheers to Faye indeed. Cheers to Faye indeed. Yeah, what a woman. And it's I think that for me as an artist, when I'm working and I'm trying to think about, what inspires me, it's you guys. It's those of you guys who are backing the book, who are showing up for these streams. It really is a shot in the arm. And I'm one of those people to where I don't make the deals that I make with the world when I get up in the morning. What's up, Rick Saylor? Saying hey to Aldous. It's one of those things where I don't need the world to give me everything in the morning when I wake up in order for myself to be happy. There's just a couple of things I need, a couple of people I need in my life. And, if I can have a couple blank sheets of paper that I can make marks on to make some artwork, I am good to go. And so when things go well, it is overwhelming. I'm inspired. I'm unbelievably grateful. And I want things to go as well as they can for those, the people in my life I really care about. the missus and the two little people of Stonehenge, as I like to call them. And but at the same time, I don't I never wake up in the morning thinking that if it's not perfect, if it doesn't require a little frustration, or I'm sorry, if it requires a little frustration and if it requires a few things that are irritating to me, I don't feel like that's a problem. I think, wow, whatever I get, I've always just been very appreciative. And it doesn't mean that you can't have goals. It doesn't mean you can't strive. It doesn't mean I don't dream big or I don't, have drive for things, but it just means I have that appreciation, that baseline appreciation. Because I think of all the people that went before me, who came to this country who were, immigrants or children of immigrants, like Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster and Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and all those people. Absolutely, John. No pain, no gain. All those fighters and boxers that inspire me. All of the beautiful and amazing, stunning women of Comicsgate who were here for the Jonathan Jetty stream, because that's how it is. What are you going to do, folks? Don't hate the player, hate the game. And that's the stuff that's my fuel, man. That's the stuff that gets me, inspired in the morning, to do work. And I don't need $1 million, to be happy. And I would say that even most of the people I know, who have that kind of money and have succeeded that way, that's not the God they pray to, and it's certainly not the God I pray to. For me, I care about people, and I care about doing the best job I can in the morning and as I work, and that's what it's all about, guys. And it's great. I love that Cus D'Amato quote, which was Cus D'Amato was Mike Tyson's coach, and he used to say that discipline is doing something that you don't want to do as if you love it. And so when I'm doing something I love, I want to make sure you guys see it on the page. And when I'm doing the hard part of this job, and there are plenty of those, I want to also be doing that like I love it, so that you guys come in and you have a great experience. That's what it's about. Even rich people, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what's sort of funny is just seeing the word rich in there, and not just because of Rich Ayala, who's in here. There was a really great quote about Floyd Mayweather from a fighter named Zab Judah. And Zab, they asked him about Floyd Mayweather. They go, "Why is Floyd so good? Why is he so successful?" And Zab Judah looked at the cameraman and said, "Man, Floyd trains like he's broke." And I love that quote. Train like you're broke. What's up, Skip Edwards? It's good to see you, my friend. Get up in the morning and go to work and train like you're broke, and just keep picking up skills. I always try to think about things where I'm like going, how many years am I going to wait to try something new or learn, how to improve my skill set? And it's always right now. Everything that that is going to or can happen is going to happen in the present with you doing it. It doesn't happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the past. Shake that stuff off. Anything, when you wake up in the morning and you start your day, shake that stuff off. Shake off the past. Shake off how things went yesterday. Draw strength from it if strength is there to be had, but do not let that negative stuff come into today. Today is a new day, and only carry what's useful for you to carry into it. It's the best advice I can give for the day. And then that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying it because, oh, this is me. I'm very zen in the morning. Some days I'm not. I haven't been the last couple of days, but I always am kicking my ass. It's not my destination, not my destination. Some of the poorest people I've ever met are the happiest. Absolutely right. It's not what you have. It's how you live your life. Absolutely right. Yeah. And John's saying very true. And I'll say this too. One of the greatest myths out there that I think is, it's a convenient myth, but it's not true, is when you'll see miserable people who will say they're miserable because they've been through a lot of tough things. That's usually around the time where, publicly miserable, like spreading misery. That's usually around the time I stop believing that they've had a tough time, because everybody I know who's had a really tough time, and it's alarming to me, are some of the most positive people I've ever met, who've really done amazing things with their lives. And that is what inspiration's all about. Okay. All right. Speaking of those funny things, oh, well, Mrs. Good Stuff. My dear, I am so glad to have you and Mister in my life, and take that positivity with you to your heart. Take it to your heart, hold on to it, and enjoy this day. Enjoy the light of this day because it is here for you to enjoy it. It is. And don't forget that, you know. Let's see here, John. The grass may be greener on the other side, but it still must be cut. Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. And it's sort of funny. I don't know what'll come of it, and we'll see if it affects our stream. But I love my sister-in-law a lot. She's just great. And my wife sent me a text. She's at work right now, and she sent me a text, and she said, "My sister's having a tough day. She can't get a hold of anybody, and I'm at work, so she may call you. If she calls you, make sure you pick up the phone." Now I don't know when she's going to call or if she's going to call, but that's that's the stop, drop, and roll stuff, right? That's what we're about. We're human beings. We're here for each other, and and that's what put that positivity out there today, guys, and let yourself have some of it too. Let yourself have some of that positivity and enjoy it because that's what this book is about, man. I mean, that's what all this stuff is about, you know, is to let that positivity um, and that inspiration come in and affect you in a positive light, and that's what I'm doing it for, is to make something that's beautiful and inspiring, and also too, I should say, to strengthen this thing, to strengthen this thing we're in, because I remember when it was, I can't remember whose stream it is anymore because, to be honest, they're all blurring together. No offense to the individuality that we cultivate here, but people were talking about it and they said, look, we need more books out there. We need more. We need to grow how big this thing is, and we need to get more stuff out there. We need to get more stuff supported and backed, and we need to really make this thing bigger. And I took that to heart, and that's why I'm here. Um, I think that I didn't realize how much I needed this, you know, social experience of being around people, to talk about art, to talk about comics, to talk about pop culture and these things we love, um, until I found it. Because I think I've been sort of, hey, Sumo Thori, what's up, my friend? It's good to see you. It is, oh my God. Sumo Thori, we love you, my friend. That I felt that, man. I woke up at that time yesterday morning. Oh man, I've been every which way but loose. Hey, it's 4:47 a.m. for me, so I'm going back to sleep. Please go back to sleep and get some rest. But I came by to hit the like and say hi to all the great people in the chat. Well, we say hello to you, my friend. Sleep well. You deserve it. Absolutely. Absolutely, Sumo Thori. Much love. John, feeling alone can be, yeah, it can be a very distress inducing thing. Just remember you're not alone. Yeah, absolutely, guys. This is the crazy thing, right? Is that um that is what, going to that comic shop and talking to that comic shop owner did for me. He would sit there with me and he'd say, "Hey, Shanth, I got in some new comics." Oh, and I'd say, "I like this." He'd go, "Have you heard of this comic? And have you heard of this?" And I really do think that what people are saying when you're in those situations is you're not alone. When you read a comic book or you read a story, whether it's, Harry Potter in a lot of your cases, or maybe it's Lord of the Rings, or maybe it's Chronicles of Narnia, or maybe it's a horror movie or a horror book or a superhero movie, superhero book, doesn't matter what it is. Um, what happens is, and I remember it was in the C.S. Lewis biopic called The Shadowlands, starring Anthony Hopkins, who was amazing. And it said in there, he said there's a character in there who said that his father told him when he was younger that we read to know we're not alone. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I think that's a really great quote. Really great quote. And I do think that that's why we look at art, and that why we look at story. I think that's why we come on to streams, is just to kind of you know remind ourselves that we're not alone, and that there's inspiration all around, and it doesn't take major things. Sometimes it can be just a really hearty gut laugh that the next day you wake up and you either can't remember why it was so funny, or you think of it and you spit coffee out your nose, hopefully not injuring somebody. But it happens. And for me, that's what it's all about. That's what I love about this, is that we're doing that. And I think that that's what storytelling is about. Is it's about, making sure that we're being inspired, and positivity is positivity that's sincere and genuine does take some strength and it does take some work, but it's not any harder than being negative in practice. And I think that's an important thing too, is just to remind yourself that you can't control what's going to happen if you hold the door open for somebody. There's always a chance that they're going to be obnoxious about it. But if you hold the door open for somebody, if you say hello to somebody, if you say thank you to somebody, if you tell somebody today that they deserve to be happy, that they deserve all the success and happiness in the world, um, then maybe that's going to have some positive effect on them. And I would rather go into the ground feeling like I didn't miss those opportunities, because I think that you know, that to me, it puts fuel in my tank. And I know how much it means to me. When people have, I've always been sort of surprised, um, when people are so enthusiastic about the work or enthusiastic about all the stuff that I'm working on right here. Um, it's overwhelming to me, and I think, well, it's the same thing for everybody else too. We all have that quality in us, that we can be inspired and that we can. I mean, we wouldn't have so much artwork that we cared about and so much fiction that we cared about if that wasn't the case. And I'm sitting here putting pigment to paper and sharing that with you guys, and you guys are showing up to check it out. I mean, how cool is that? It doesn't get much better. I mean, it's you want to talk about things that make us realize that we're not alone and that we're in a really cool community. I'd say watching a bunch of people watching a silly fool painting comic book pages for Comicsgate first thing in the morning could do a lot worse than in terms of things that are life affirming. It's pretty darn life affirming to me. So I thank you guys for being here while I do this. It is never lost on me. Just like everybody who backs the book, it is never lost on me. And it's not lost on my family. It's a conversation we have around the dinner table, how the book is doing. So know that you guys are at our dinner table when we're working. Let's see what we got here. Let me just adjust my nose here. Let's see here, or my glasses, but my nose is the culprit. Let's see here. Amanda Beam is Good Stuff in Comics. This is such an all-star chat. Yeah, absolutely. It is an all-star chat, guys. What beautiful thing did I do in a past life to deserve it? But I am appreciative, and I say thank you for being here and showing up. Misery burns itself out in the face of happiness. Yeah, I would say the one thing that cynicism cannot long stand is hope. It is really tough when people um, try to resist hope. It really is a losing battle. And I will say this too. When I say people, let me speak for myself because I don't like to talk about the abstraction too much. I tried for a long time in my teen years and my early 20s. It happens to try to be cynical, and I just don't have the constitution for it. Sooner or later, hope and optimism is always one. And I've been through enough stuff, as I imagine a lot of you guys have, um, to have been broken down if it was going to be the case. And I think it has come largely from seeing people who've been through things that are worse than I can imagine, who are just so completely positive. I mean, guys, right now, you might be putting pictures in your head. You might be imagining different things in different situations. But what I always am defaulting to is I look out the window, I look at where I am, look at the clouds, I get out of the thoughts in my head, and I try to be present. I look at the desk in front of me, the paper, and you lovely people in the chat. And that brings me back into reality, and that keeps me centered. Because it's like that old, the Psych 101 thing that they tell you. If you live in the past, you'll be depressed. If you keep your mind in the past, located in the past, living in the past, you'll be depressed. And if you keep your mind living always in the future, like what's going to happen next, what's next, what's next, what's next, you'll be anxious. The only healthy place you can ever truly exist is in the present. And what I always think about that is that doesn't mean you plan. When you make plans for the future, you're planning in the present. So when you're thinking about your workout routine that you're going to do, you think about all those goals you have, you're planning those out in the present. When you're thinking about whether you're going to achieve them or not, look up at the sun, at the sky, at the ocean, look at the grass growing, look at the snow falling, whatever it is, and remind yourself to get back in the present, center yourself, because that's where everything good's going to happen. And you know how I know that that's where the good things are is because that's where you are. So remember that you're one of those good things in the present. So enjoy yourself as much as other people are going to enjoy you, and bring your best. That is what it's about. Here we go. Check and see if the bat phone's going off. No, we're in good shape. All right, let's see here. Rick Saylor here saying, honestly, I got into CG not for the books, but for the artists, the amazing fans. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm here too, guys. The books are just a bonus. Hail CG. Absolutely. Hail Comicsgate, says John Shanth MBSR stream. Yeah, sure. Okay. John, can't plow a field by looking behind you. Absolutely right. And John goes MBSR. John, I think we both need to assume that that's a gang thing. Yeah, mindfulness-based stress reduction. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to think about. Sometimes I think about when I was a kid. Growing up in Chattanooga, out and hanging outside of Bob's convenience store, smoking a Pall Mall filterless with a Skull dip in at the same time. Y'all, let me tell you. And I think about that kid painting in gouache, streaming on YouTube, and talking about art. What an amazing world this is! What an amazing world this is! And I feel really grateful to have met all of you guys, and to have met a lot of the people in CG, like who have not had any obligation um, to help or assist me, which I wouldn't want them to have any obligation, but they have chosen to, which makes it all the richer and all of the more overwhelming and wonderful. And I just say to myself, hey, just keep going and appreciate it every single day. Appreciate the people who show up. And I think that it's interesting to me too, because I think about that sometimes, which is um, we're in this really interesting business, even if it's creepy, even if it's scary, even if it's superheroes, if it's monsters, if it's werewolves, if it's any number of the awesome books, if it's if it's superheroes, color, black and white, whatever the comic is, if it's pulp, we're in the sphere of where we are funding and creating art, beauty, and aesthetics. And if that doesn't get you excited in the morning, or if you're looking for something to get you excited in the morning, look at that. Think about the fact that this is a movement that's based on art. How beautiful is that? Yeah, unbelievable. That's right. So John says, cool. Learn something new every day. Yes, we do. That's why we're here. We do learn tons of stuff. Copenhagen and a Camel Unfiltered, more like it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I apologize. Listen, I didn't tell you that I probably was having a Slim Jim chaser with that. So yeah, all class every day, guys. Yeah. Oh my Lord. Yeah. If I when I was a kid, if I didn't have gym class, I wouldn't have had any class at all. I'll tell you that. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, good morning, Mighty Geek Studios. Good to see you, Rick Saylor. I'm the world's best backwards driver. You don't need to know where you're going. That's right. You need to know where you've been. There you go, right? Oh my God, that cracked me up. You just hit my funny bone with that. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that, Rick. Yeah, I love laughter. I love comedy, guys. That's a big reason why I got into CG. I see Cecil. Like, my favorite, thing in the world is seeing people who can just crack me up, and then people who can, just share all the positivity that there is to have it. It's amazing. Let's see here. Yeah. Good morning, Comicsgate. I love reading that. I'll read it again. Admiral Ack asks, yeah, hey, everybody saying hello. Frog G, tickle the algorithm, smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Absolutely right. Well said. And yeah, thank you guys for doing that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm wondering, because my kids are both teenagers. If I let's all do this test. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, let's see if my kids talk to me more. You never know. Chance to be a fun thing. And one of the things for me when I'm doing this artwork. It just cracked me up. And what's up, Frog G? It's good to see you. Yeah, everybody doing their good mornings here because that's what we do, and good afternoons depending on where you are, and good evening and good night depending on where you are. But yeah, I love art so much, and I love creativity, and I love people who are passionate about things. And someone once asked me, as an artist, what I was the biggest fan of, and I always say that I'm kind of one of those people to where I'm a fan of the things that other people, when people share their passion for things. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it's like with Charlie's London, if it's World War I history, or the history of Charlie Chaplin, or whatever it is, I'm inspired by that. I'm like, tell me more. I'm that person at the party where I'm kind of, if I'm out at a party for that matter, that wants to hear what people's passions are and what their enthusiasm is. If I can read it on the news, or if I can read it somewhere else, then I don't need to be at a party. I can be there. And at CG, I have more of those conversations and more people telling me about things I didn't know about, think about, or that I connect to as a result of their passion. You know what I mean? And things even like, we got a lot of people here, in the chat too, where it's like things like fitness that, just remind me, where I go, gosh, I really need to get back after it. I really need to get myself in shape. And isn't that a beautiful thing, to have, is people who are inspiring you to do better and take care of yourself better, around you. And stop eating Slim Jims. I mean, look, I got to stop, guys. I just have to stop eating Slim Jims. But it is what it is. It's an absolutely it's a lifestyle choice, guys. Slim Jim is a lifestyle brand. I think that's what we're going to start calling it. Call everything else a lifestyle brand, don't they? I mean, so why not? And we've got 16 people. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please, guys, hit the like button, and thank you again for being here, guys. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate it. It's a weird thing to wake up in the morning, go paint gouache, and have people who are excited to be there with you, and chill out, and share their morning with you. And I certainly do view it that way. Um, Probably one of the most important things that we can share with another human being is time. And I thank you guys for sharing your time with me. I know it's valuable and important. Same thing when you back the book, guys. You're sharing your time, and you're sharing your money with me on this little creative endeavor we're on, and I do appreciate it. Yeah, don't give up the Slim Jims, man. Says Mighty Geek Studios. Mighty Geek Studios. I'm going to take that as gospel. You're right. If I give up on my dreams, what's left, really? I got to give my doctor something to yell at me about. Um, you know, it's one of those things. It's I love when I have a positive dental visit and my dentist has that incredulous look on his face, like, "Wow, are you actually listening to things I tell you?" I'm like, "Oh, ye of little faith." So let's see here. Mighty Geek Studios. Let's see here. Miss T Bear might get Miss T Bear. Sorry, might get jealous. So what kind of odds are we talking about, Amanda B? I always forget, Frog G. What would I do without you? Absolutely right. And hi, Amanda B says, Frog G. No one can take better care of yourself than yourself. That is absolutely right. Macho Man Lifestyle Admiral Wackass. Oh yeah, snap into a Slim Jim. Can't do a good Macho Man. Pete Sametti can do a good one. That's right, brother. Oh yeah, I can't do it. Just don't have it. I try. Let's see here. Mighty Geek Studios. Don't give up the Slim Jims, man. And then, of course, Doctor Prescribed Slim Jims. Laugh out loud. Yes, John. You'd be shocked. You can get a prescription. I think you have to get one now. I'll catch myself at a convenience store when I'm like out at night sometimes, and I'll be looking at the expiration date on it, and it's just like, who am I kidding? That's a special kind of level of denial there. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, oh God, I was talking about when I was a kid and I was watching, I'd have to go to Blockbuster to get, because I don't think we had cable at that point. I could be wrong, but I'd go to Blockbuster or whatever channel it was playing on, and we would get the old WrestleMania VHS tapes. Boy, that takes me back. I mean, that's like that's when you got to just love it in order to be a part of it. It's sort of funny to watch after the fact, but we didn't know any better and we had fun. It's what we had, and that's the thing, guys. Um, it does not take much, I will tell you that, for me to wake up and kind of just say, hey man, things are pretty cool. Keep working, even when things are tough. And that's the thing, that's the real litmus test for me. Is it's not like, oh, something I try to do. It's like I think if I think I'm having a tough day or I think things aren't going too well, I'll say to myself, my first reaction is, and listen, guys, please take care of yourselves. Do not get into the zone where you're not prioritizing yourselves at all. Do as I say, not as I do is probably my best way to say that. But I do think there's probably someone else out there who's needing, feeling what I'm feeling right now, and it'll probably help me to get into a better mental state if I start to be sort of more positive and share some positivity out there in the world. And there's just as many people needing it as I am. And when I think about some of the people that have inspired me by just their determination, their diligence to get better at the work that they're doing, or to learn something new, that's what the fuel is for me. And that's what gets me excited. Last night I was watching a documentary for any of my people out there who are Ninja Turtles fans, called Turtle Power, on the history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it was really interesting because those guys are, or at least where that all happened, is near where I live now. But when I was a kid growing up, I had no idea where Massachusetts and New England was when I was growing up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it was just such a great, sort of CG reminder that you just, if we're you got to take, if you want to get a hit, you got to take a swing. And I'm butchered that to pieces. But you won't get a hit if you never take a swing. The more of us that are out there doing things and sharing our work, the better of a chance we have to make something huge. And I do believe the rising tide lifts all boats. So we need everybody on deck. We need people back in the books, sharing the link, saying, back this book. Aren't you tired of feeling uninspired? Support something where the people who you support are going to put love and care into this work and get it to you, who are positive and want you to have a great day, want you to get out there and feel inspired, because that's what we're here for. Let's see. Let me see here. Dr. Chance, Walmart. Oh, yeah. I go to Walmart and get a couple boxes of 48 Slim Jims. Respect that. I love it. Mighty Geek Studios. And John says, I always try to be easily amused, but hard to impress. Yeah, I like that. That's absolutely true. Yeah. It's sort of funny because we were talking. I think it was Michael and I, but a bunch of other people were talking about Myers-Briggs types once. And one of the things that was so funny about it is the definition of my Myers-Briggs type is apparently is that I'm a speed reader, and I take a long time to get to know, I guess is what it says. A closed book and a speed reader is what it said for me. And it's really interesting because I never thought about that too much, but I definitely would agree with the speed reader part of things. I have a tendency to do an okay job at reading people. But yeah, it's always amusing to read stuff like that, because for me, the one thing I don't need to know a lot about people to generally get a sense of is that people notice when you're being sincere. People notice when you really care, and you really can't fake that. And I'm really glad that Comicsgate is a place where people are so sincere and so inspired. It's like I get to talk about things like watercolor paper and stuff I love. I'm really having fun on this page, guys. I have to tell you that I'm having a blast on this book. And I took a couple of days where the weather was going crazy and I was spending time with my family, which is always, always enjoyable to do. And one of the things about it that was really cool is I kind of was letting it sink in. I was like, oh my gosh, like the book is funding, the book's in good shape, and got to get ready to keep pushing it and to keep moving this thing forward. But I was like, holy cow, like this is, trying to trying to take a moment to enjoy and acknowledge, what an accomplishment it is to kind of found this community of really cool people that I've been looking for so long, and to have had their support is it means the world to me. So let me see here. We've got something from Miss Good Stuff here. Let me see here. I pronounced Chattanooga incorrectly for years. We used to take road trips through Tennessee all the time when I was a kid, and my dad always pronounced it Chattanooga. Yeah, it took me a long time. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. But it's one of those things to where, Chattanooga, and then I had trouble pronouncing the lake that was in our town, center of our town near where I lived, which was Chickamauga. and a lot of you guys might know Chickamauga from, if you study Civil War history, from Chickamauga battlefield. But it took me a long time to get used to some of the names when we moved down from Michigan, because I did live outside of Detroit for a short spell. And it took me a little while to get used to it, and then get used to the accents too, you know. And yeah, it's sort of funny. But I've been a lot of different places, and I like it all. But yeah, that's a drive. Yeah, Chattanooga seems to be a through drive for a lot of places. You know, I guess it's going down 75. I think it is. You'll end up going through Chattanooga. Yeah, but excellent. Yeah, it's a tricky one to pronounce. Let's see here. Nope, no Sparrow is still criminally underfunded. There you go. Dropping by to say hi, Tank. Thank you so much for dropping by, and thank you for smashing the like button. Laugh out loud. The story of America. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody saying hello to Tank Ferret. Excellent. Yeah, everybody, and then Lake. Oh my God, I cannot even do that. Lake Ochachubi. Is that how you pronounce it? Ochachubi. Let me know if I got that correct. Always fun. Yeah, man. It's like I love that stuff, you know. It's like by the way, I call everybody man, so please don't take offense. My It was so funny too. It's like my wife said that when she first met me. She's like, "Why do you keep calling me man?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." Yeah. Oh my God. It's too funny. Yeah, that's one thing I had trouble shaking from my time growing up in Michigan and Baltimore. Um, it was just kind of like that's what I love about New England. Got a lot of that here too, but definitely a different way of speaking. And then of course when I went down south, then it was like yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, that's uh, that's some serious stuff. If you don't want to get killed by a friend of yours mom, you better get yes, ma'am, uh, all sorted out. Because yeah, Southern moms are not huge fans of you tripping over the yes, ma'am. So don't let it happen to you. Let's see here. Okay, Okeechobee. Okay, I think I said that right. Oh, fingers crossed. I actually don't know if I did any better or worse that second time here. Let's see here. Dude, what else am I going to call you? Yeah, that's right. Dude, what else am I going to call you? Yeah. It's like, dude, everybody's saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you are, man, dude, or guys, regardless of yeah, exactly. Well, this is the funny thing, right? It's like this. In the South, every soft drink is called a Coke. So you go to a restaurant, they don't say pop or soda as much down there, not where I grew up. So you go, they say, "Can I get a Coke?" And they say, "We have Pepsi." And you just look back at them and you go, "Yeah, like a Coke." Like it's so bizarre. Yeah, let's see here. Zaid Comics was lettering lost pages all night and got new pages. Excellent. Well, I mean, if some of those accidentally end up being, you know, sent to me as a private message on Twitter, then I'll have to look at them. You know, I mean, that's the way it is. That is the way it is. Let me see if I can get this to work here. Yeah, I mean, I was lettering on one of the No Sparrow pages the other night too, because I'm getting into you know, doing the lettering as I go. I like to kind of, you know, test different things out just to see how it's going to play when I work across the pages. And it's one of my favorite things. That's why I like doing everything on these streams. You know, that's what I'm. You know, I like to show you guys the whole process, but it's why I like doing everything on the books because I'm thinking about the lettering in my head when I'm laying this stuff out. And so when I finally do get to that phase, I love it. And Phil, I have to tell you, the stuff that you've been showing me from the Lost Pages is great. Guys, I've backed Lost Pages books 1 and 2. I've just backed Rob the Replicator, Rob Arnold's book, The Replicator. I've got all 3 of those coming to me from the Land Down Under. And there's just so much cool stuff in Comicsgate happening right now. It's like it's hard to keep up with all of it, you know. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Miss Good Stuff is saying, let's see here in Ohio, which I love that state word. If we don't hear what you said, we say I'm sorry. Freaks people out if they aren't from here. Well, see, I grew up. I had some friends who lived out in Canton, Ohio, and so near. I guess we're near Amish country because we went and got some. We got some Amish stuff. So don't tell Shane that. I know Shane has his things. But yeah, we were out there and I loved Canton. I thought Canton was beautiful when I was there, and that was just sort of, you know, on the way through down from Detroit. So It's yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, to me, it always struck me as a really beautiful area. I don't know where in Ohio one is. I know it's a pretty big state. It's not like Rhode Island. You guys actually have, land. Uh, it's actually significant. But yeah, I have good memories of Ohio. Some really good friends who were neighbors used to work at Uniroyal Tire, um, who ended up moving out to Ohio during the auto collapse in Detroit. But it was a beautiful place to go and visit. They had two. What are those little white dogs, those terriers? Is it Westies? They had two or three of those, I think, and they loved them. It was really cute. Let's see here. Is that isn't that politeness? I do that all the time. Yeah, I do too. I mean, the manners thing is I tell my kids that all the time. How important that is, to say yes, please, and thank you. And I will tell you this: if you're a young person who says please and thank you in this day and age, people are so impressed by that I don't know why anybody would miss out on doing that because it really does open a lot of doors. People are shocked if you have manners and you show up in this day and age. It's crazy. A simple thank you. It gets a lot of mileage these days, but people need to hear it too. People really need to hear it. And it's funny. I mean, everything when it comes to whether it's working out, it's doing whatever you do for a living, sitting at your desk, whatever you're doing, the same things apply to art, which is um, making sure you're breathing, making sure you're taking a moment to make sure you get some air in. Most people only breathe in, I've found, and it's pretty useful to make sure you're getting some air into your system. Keeps you keeps you able to work and keeps you able to focus, and is good for the stress, or so I'm told. Let's see here. Yeah, shameful thing. Shameful things. John, you just cracked me up. Rick Saylor, I'm an Ohio boy. Excellent, good to hear that, Rick Saylor, and love to Ohio. Admiral Wackass says, so hyped for Nosfero and Lost Pages. I am absolutely psyched as well, guys. I'm psyched for you guys to get this book, and I'm psyched to get Lost Pages 1 and 2. Hails Aid Comics and Amanda B, as always. Yes, Tank Ferret, absolutely right. Ohio is good. Only been there a couple of times. To my grandparents' childhood home and great grandfolks cemetery. Oh, respect. Yeah, and I'll tell you this too is that the people who we were visiting out in Canton, Ohio, who had the dogs, they were kind of like adoptive grandparents to us. They were really sweet. I used to go when they lived in Michigan. I used to go over to their house, and they had their sons who were in high school. They had all of their old Matchbox cars saved downstairs in one of those little fold-out closets, and the ones that are kind of like the accordion closets. And I would just take those out. They'd always get on me and tell me to make sure I came back and what do you call it, and and put them away. Because sometimes I'd forget. I'd get so excited I'd run out of the house. But I'd go over there and I would just take those out, and it was like gold to me to have all those Matchbox cars that their sons had collected over the years when they were kids, Dennis and Paul, and had collected, and it was just great. And I also had one of my first big drawing kind of moments because Paul was going to a school. I think it might have been for engineering. I'm not positive. Somewhere in Michigan, I think it was. Might have been Michigan State. I'm not positive. And Paul had done a drawing of an architectural or not architectural, a design rendering of the space shuttle. And I was obsessed with the space shuttle at that age. And so I ended up doing a drawing next to him. And I don't know, there was something about watching someone who could draw so much better than me that really inspired me to learn how to draw working with Paul. One of those cool things. Let me get my glasses on so I can see things here. This really is the Sean stream focus on your breathing. Yeah, it's true. It's because our hands will start shaking and and we'll mess up our work if we don't get enough air in. And I also think too, I'm at that point where it's like I don't need to be. I think there's this habit I get into whenever I focus on something, I tend to tense up. I found this when I was learning boxing from my boxing coach Jesse over at Ultimate Fitness Gym. Much love, Jesse. And and one of the things about it is that I would try to get more precise by tensing up, and it would actually really hurt my accuracy when I was trying to hit the mitts. It was really tough to do, and I would also my stamina would go out the window. So I always do think that it's one of the things that people who I know who work like machines and run themselves down forget to do. It's crazy. And yeah, we could all learn to do a little bit more of that. It's like I have this joke with my wife where I said she's one of those people who I always have to remind her to exhale. And I always joke, like when she comes home from work stressed, I go, I got two options. I said, either you got to sob your eyes out in order to get this air out of your lungs, or you're going to have to laugh. So which will you have? Oh man, don't even get me started about golf. My father-in-law loves to golf, and I loved my father-in-law, so I would go out and hang out with him, and I would just murder it. I was so bad at it. And the only time I ever did well at golf, even remotely, was the first time I went out there and I didn't care. I did great. Ever since then, when I would try to repeat it, everything would go haywire. Golf is got to be one of the most zen things I've ever experienced, and it punishes you for being out of that state of mind. I mean, it is rough. But then, I could also say it's funny. People always get on me about saying that, because it's like painting is the same way. Your hand is going to shake if you're not, keeping yourself in that perfect kind of in between sort of phase there of looseness and creativity. I'll tell you something funny. I don't drink coffee in the morning. I apologize. I don't mean to insult anybody's religion. I know a lot of you guys are I'm sure big time coffee drinkers. In New England, it's Dunkin' coffee, just like in the ads. But I'll tell you this is that what I really enjoy, and you're right about that, John. The harder you try, the worse you get when it comes to golf. But it's my wife has started drinking coffee recently. She's kind of hit that phase where suddenly she's just developed a taste for coffee, and I really love the smell of coffee in the morning. I know some people don't care for it, but I really do like the smell of people brewing coffee in the morning. It's got a really I don't know. It puts a nice kind of flavor in the air, so to speak. Opening the windows, getting a little bit of that cool, crisp New England air, and then smelling some coffee. It's good stuff. Yeah. Well, no, okay. Here's my coffee thing. I don't do coffee in the morning, but I do coffee at night. So I don't even know. I can't explain. Look, maybe you should just be out of here, John, because I can't justify that. I don't know. But yeah, yeah. I got to work on myself, John. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, okay. So let me gross you out. Let me lose your respect even more, John. Let's see here. Admiral Wackass says, "Flow is the place between tension and relaxation." Geez, you're bringing the Zen to me now, brother. Got to be like water, can be a gentle trickle or torment, but it's always flows. Absolutely right, man. Bruce Lee is smiling somewhere down on you, my friend. Bruce was the person who really introduced me to a lot of that stuff, because I've really not experienced a lot of that kind of thing. So watching those old VHS tapes we would have, but tell us about it over a cup of coffee. Why don't you? So here's a Southernism. If there's any Southerners in here right now, maybe you can back me up, or maybe you'll go, "He's a liar. He speaks heresy." But I would drink Coke for breakfast when I was a kid, and I know a lot of Southerners who have a Coke for breakfast. And I know people. I tell people that, and they just do like, "That is disgusting. Like, what is wrong with you?" But yeah, I would have a glass of Coke in the morning for breakfast. Just ask my dentist. He will he will let you know that was the case. Oy vey. It's crazy, but it's like that, and grits, man. It's like there's all these little Southern comforts, including, of course, Southern Comfort, that are funny. That I remember. I think about that, but it's a very weird thing to have soda in the morning. For those of you guys who aren't from there. And but it was just one of those things. Wake up in the morning, crack open a Coca-Cola, and that was one of the morning routines I had when I was growing up there. But if I was gonna drink something in the morning, I probably would be coffee. That'd probably be what I drank in the morning. But instead, I like to drink coffee late at night. See, when I was growing up in Tennessee, we'd go. I don't know if you guys have Waffle Houses where you guys are, but we had Waffle Houses, and so in the middle of the night, late at night, we'd get in our cars and we'd drive out and we'd go to those 24-hour Waffle Houses, and we just sit out there, and we talk, and just have breakfast and coffee. And in the middle of the night, we just have a couple cups of coffee. Yeah, no Coke here. Just no claims. You cracked me up, Smoking Ray. It's good to have you here, my friend. Yeah, absolutely, guys. And thank you guys for hitting like here, by the way. It does affect things, and the algorithm and everything else. So appreciative. Let's see here. My roommate and I, both Northeasterners, both do that. Laugh out. See, there you go. So yeah, it's not just me. I'm not alone. I'm in Comicsgate. There could be worse things, right? You're never alone in Comicsgate. It's like being a jet in West Side Story. For all my fellow Puerto Ricaners who knew that movie, I've got a fourth Puerto Rican in me, and there you go. But let's see here. Smoking Ray left my house. I know those who did. That's great, man. Let's see here. Left my ass off. I know those who did. Not for me personally, but I went to McDonald's, yeah, once for breakfast, ordered milk, and the order taker said Coke. That's too funny. I was befuddled. Someone would drink Coke for breakfast. Yeah, hey, listen. Here to try to justify my lifestyle choices, man. You're probably right. I mean, it is absolutely like I say it. I say it with acknowledgement and just a touch of shame when I share the details of my dietary adventures. Um, it is what it is. It's like, oof, yeah, I was definitely not hashtag living my best life, as they say, back in the day. And let's see, howdy fellas from Smoking Wraith, yeah, and hey Frog G. So yeah, guys, it's really good to see you guys in here, man. I mean, it's I started the stream, and I was Phil. It was, and I were both talking about this, and actually a lot of us have. We've been getting on morning schedules just because you stay up late enough, and sooner or later you're up in the afternoon because you've stayed up till the afternoon. And um and what's kind of cool about it is that it is really when my mind is kind of is the most crisp that it can be. And so it was really cool to kind of start streaming and see you guys in here. Really nice. I do appreciate, guys, all of you guys who are hitting the like button and who are subscribing. It's been a really wild 2021, and I'm really looking forward to 2022. I've met so many great people and so many people who have been so supportive of everything that's going on in CG and of my book in specific. And I just think to myself, as good as 2021 was, I went into it not knowing half the people and having met half the cool people that I was going to meet by the end of that year going into 2022. And I just think, how could it not be a great year with having all of you guys here? I refuse to accept that as a possibility. And I just think we're getting better and better and better, and we're moving ahead, and that's what it is. Let's see here. Um, it is what it is. No truer word spoken. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of my. That should be. That should be on my headstone, man. Sean, here lies Shanthan Jetty. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? You know. Exactly. That's some objectivist stuff right there, right? Existence exists. It is what it is. That's it in its nutshell. There we go. Morning is better. Switched from closing shop 6 days a week to 8 a.m. day job, and so much better. Yeah, guys, isn't that weird that because I've met people who and maybe some in the chat who nighttime is their thing. They're in a much better groove and they're in a much better place when they're on that schedule. And I think one of the things that is kind of interesting is that process that we go through of trying to learn what's our where our optimal time is. And there's really not a there's not a manual for it. You just kind of have to figure out where you're at and like what your schedule is and what your natural sort of rhythm is as you're going about these things. But yeah, that's isn't that funny though how that works? Because I do like being up late. I do like being a night owl. That's when all my Australian brothers are doing their thing. But it's funny. Like I just feel like it's easier for me to think and to do certain stuff, creative endeavors like writing and everything else on this book in the morning. So it's yeah, it's weird how like the body seems to sort of know how it's supposed to be rolling. It's just you gotta kind of go with that. And it's really interesting to me too because when I woke up this morning, we've had a lot of rain up here in New England, and I kind of didn't notice how sunny it was. Um, and it's been kind of amazing to see how much. And I know you guys all know this. And I'm hardly giving a piece of wisdom out here, but just how much I'm really appreciating that even though it's freezing outside right now, the sun is out. It really does good for the spirit to have that sun out in the morning and to feel that kind of crisp winter air. It's different when it's gloomy out. And let's see here. We've got Smoking Wraith saying hello, everybody. Morning is better. Switch there. And then, yeah, hey, SW. To the day schedule makes you available to your loved ones. And isn't that everything? You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, hail and word and praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Let's see here. Smoking Wraith Steve says, you artists amaze me. How do you do it? I'm more of a stick figure guy myself. I'll tell you this, right? The way that we do it is the same way that everybody does their jobs, guys. It's like, how do I don't know. I thank you. I'm going to allow that compliment to land. I'm not going to be one of those obnoxious people. I appreciate that. You know, it's very cool of you to say that. But I don't know. I mean, like my electrician, I could watch him work all day. He blows my mind, you know, when he's doing stuff. And my plumber, John Davidson, who is such a great dude. And we have conversations and we talk shop and we talk trade skills and everything like that. Um, it's just I've been, since I was a kid, I've been holding a brush and you know, or not a brush, but I've been holding a pencil and pen and been trying to get what is in this noggin of mine out onto the paper so that other people might know what I was trying to show them. And it really is funny, but it's true. It's like sooner or later, if you keep staying after it, this stuff kind of happens. And I'm just amazed that people are, you know, so supportive and so into it. You know, it's such a great thing for you guys to be here, and it's cool. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's a blessing. Sorry to to be whatever, but that's how it is. Lord Crackhead 33, my yeah, a morning shop stream. Yeah, absolutely. That's another one of my New England brothers, Jeremy. Jeremy, it's good to see you. Good morning, my friend. I hope you are having a coffee or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever it is, however you roll. You know how it is up in New England. Jeremy and I live real close to each other, and it's really funny. We haven't met or whatever, but it's really funny to get to meet people who live in your neck of the woods. You can talk about weather and all that stuff. Kathy O says, "I work overnights. Yeah, I could be around. I could be around at any time. Mostly a lurker. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've done my share of lurking too because one of the things you start to find is, and that's a great thing about our community too, but it also is kind of funny, is if I'm trying to draw our work, if I say hi, then I have a lot of people saying hi to me, and I feel guilty if I don't say hi back to everybody. So sometimes I've got to lurk a little bit just to make sure I can get as much work as I want to get done on Nosfero done. But there are worse things, right? There are worse things than being in Michael Bancroft's Cheers esque environment and having everybody say hi, excuse me, on his chats. I love it. I love being here. Yeah, everybody's saying hey to Jeremy. Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry about that. Let's see, morning peeps. Yeah. John says, "Are there no Krispy Kremes in New England?" No, there's one at a casino up here, Mohegan Sun. I know where all Krispy Kremes are at all times, and man, do I miss Krispy Kremes. I know everybody loves Dunkin' Donuts up here, and all that stuff, but man, Krispy Kremes were such a childhood thing. I love Krispy Kremes. And so whenever I'm back in Texas visiting family, or if I'm anywhere where I can get a Krispy Kreme, I will always get one because I love Krispy Kremes, love them. I don't know if they love me back or they're good for me, but man, do I love, like, there's nothing better than seeing that sign that says hot donuts, fresh donuts on Krispy Kreme. We did have one in Rhode Island, and my wife and I were there in a line of like 300 cars opening nights. Unfortunately, yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is just kind of what it is up here. Like it's the big thing. People prefer it up here. Let me see here. Adjust my glasses. Hail chat. Hail Sean. Hey, what's up? Nicotronis, I think it is. Hopefully I got that right. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the comments about the artwork. I do my best for you guys. I want you to know that. I'll make a beautiful book for my comic skaters. Smoking Rape, laugh out loud. Where everybody knows your name is right. Everybody's saying their hellos. Lurking is pretty fun, and I usually do, but the community here gets me to be more active in chat. Absolutely, same here, guys. How can you not? It's there's so many cool people you want to say hi to. John, raspberry filled and glazed are my favorites. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, what do you got? I'll eat any any Krispy Kremes that you got, right? Everybody's saying, hey, Nico. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, isn't it? It's true. I mean, it's I feel like so many of you guys I know from the chat from before I even, my channel's been going for a little while, but before I really launched my first comic, when it was just the art books, I was in the chats all the time, and so I feel like I knew everybody. And it is a really fun thing. You just I see people, and it's like even if I'm trying to lurk, I just got to type a hi and say hello and see how everybody's doing, because it's true. Like you meet a lot of friends in the chat, and it's just like being back in the good old days of comic book shops um, and hanging out at conventions and things like that. It's everything I love about that stuff. So yeah, absolutely right. Let's see here. Devil's Food Cake, Crispy Kreme. Oh God, you guys are the devils today. Oh, sounds so good. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, time to make the comics. I mean, comics. It's absolutely right. I used to love that ad too. I don't know why. That poor guy, I could relate to him. Time to make the donuts. Yeah, time to make the comics is absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. And that's what we do. We get up and we just do this stuff. And again, I mean, think of how crazy. I could never have imagined this when I was a kid, that I get to watch comic creators, making their work in real time. I mean, this is happening. Like you guys are watching me work, and you can be like, "Oh, hey," and I'm reading it right now. And that's the cool thing about it, is that you guys are really here when we're making this stuff, when we're up at night, when we're streaming, and the trials, and everything that we kind of go through to try to make this stuff, our little corner of pop culture, as cool as it is. And you guys are there for all of it. I'll be sitting there and trying to make a halfway decent intro video or something like that. And it's just like none of it matters, and none of it counts if there isn't a really cool and active and motivated audience that's here and checking everything out. And I love being in that audience, and I love contributing to it too. It's really cool. I don't think I've ever, in all of my time as a fan of comics, as a fan of pop culture, I don't think there's ever been a time I've enjoyed as much as this one. And I never thought I'd say that again about anything, because it was just you wonder if you're going to be able to find that beauty and find that inspiration. But let that be something that we're always remembering, guys, is that yes, all it takes is people getting together, and you can always find that stuff. You can always find that inspiration. You can always find that beauty. And if you can't find it anywhere, get about the business of making it, and you'll find all the other people who've been waiting for you to do it. There we go. Just getting those lines in there, sort of make that perspective work where the figures jump. Let me take a look here at the chat. Yeah, artist studios have usually been off limits. Yeah, to the general public, absolutely. Hey, Julie Pascal, how you doing? Good morning to you, my friend. Made some raisin toast. Wow, I used to love eating toasted raisin bread in the morning when I was a kid. I don't know if raisin toast is the same thing, but yeah, I absolutely love that stuff. Yeah, everybody saying their good mornings, because that is what we do here. Smoke and Ray says, I only got into comics to join the fights between friends and stoke the fire about Daredevil over that. Those are the things, though, aren't they? Those are the best things. Absolutely. Yeah, all it takes is one. Yeah, Phil, right on. Yeah, come together right now over art. And it looks like we've got some fun happening in the chat there. What have we got? We got some spam happening there, Jeremy. Let me see. I can take care of this. Okay, I think it is. It does look like it. Let's see if that worked. Oh, hang on. I don't know if I can do it. I might need you to do it, Jeremy. If you can. If you're driving, for the love of God, don't think about it. I'm like always worried people are on the road, man. Let me see here. Yeah, cinnamon swirl and raisin. Oh yeah, that sounds good. God, guys, like I thought Comicsgate was a weight loss group initially, but when we get talking about food, I got to tell you, you start realizing like how talking about food can take you down some, yeah, dang bots. Yeah, they've been going crazy lately. We must be doing something right. They're after us. But it's one of those things to where, yeah, I've been on Comicsgate streams where I'm kind of like going, why is the grocery store closed right now? I need to go out and get some food. Oh man, yeah. I get some serious food cravings watching CG streams. It is what it is. There we go. I'm just kind of get the cool thing about doing this stuff in real time is it actually it's I mean, guys, it's I swear it's like some days like when I'm working I need to kind of zero in a little bit or whatever because I've got, a lot going on in background noise. So I kind of am more distracted. But in the mornings, the thing that's kind of fun about this, guys, is it feels like drawn with company. That's what's so fun about it. It's so funny. I get messages from my wife and it's really funny. She's she's a good big sister. She's a great wife, but she takes care of her family really well. She's an amazing person. And I know a lot of you guys. What funny thing about Comicsgate is from my experience and just from hearing people in the chat, we've got a lot of people who are their designated shoulder to lean on in their family, in their community, in their circle of friends. We tend to attract that, and it's a pretty cool thing. We got a lot of people who bring a lot to this world, and we appreciate you guys. And it's a good sign. We must be doing something right to attract so many of you guys, to Comicsgate. And I mean, it's what I love about Comicsgate is the quality of the people. Oh wow, banana bread French toast. What are you people doing to me? My God, Lady Frog likes it when I make her breakfast. Yeah, um, yeah, that's a good way to keep the missus happy. Let me tell you, making breakfast will do it. Absolutely. Hell, just putting a cup of coffee on every now and again and being do wonders. There's an old saying, "Never trust a skinny cook." Yeah, that's right. Um, People who want to diet, no good food. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're right. I can see why. Yeah, smoking race laughing. You failed to understand the power of the geek. Yeah, absolutely. A power you now wield. Yeah, hey guys, seriously. It's I mean, I'll tell you, to me, the people who influenced me and inspired me were so good to me at conventions when I'd meet them. And I have this next to me just because I've got to figure out a place to frame it. But this is what it's about for me. My hero, creator of the Rocketeer, Dave Stevens, wrote me this note on a back of a postcard, which I framed at San Diego Comic Con. For Champ, good luck, Dave Stevens. And wherever Dave is, or whatever Dave's up to right now, I hope he's with Betty Page looking down on me and happy that I'm bringing superhero pulp to my little corner of Comicsgate, along with a lot of other people like Phil Diaz and all my other pulp boys who were in the mix. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've been living comics for. It's been so huge to me. I've got my memorabilia from comics going back, obviously decades, like a lot of you guys have. And yeah, meeting Dave Stevens was one of those great moments in my life. It would have been, I think it was in the '90s, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he really influenced me and inspired me. It's when you meet your heroes and they live up, it's it's amazing. Let's see here. Yeah, it's the quickening. Being who you are, that's CG. Argue, complain, and break bread. And absolutely, that's a really good one too, isn't it? The breaking bread part is a major thing about it. You know what I mean? And that's what's sort of cool about it. Think about that, when I hear stories of like, people getting together in real life and doing things and going out to eat, it's a funny thing, right? Why do we need to do that? I think that's a part of our human experience. Why do we need to, I mean, for all intents and purposes, whether it's your morning drive, your morning cup of coffee, your breakfast, or even your afternoon or your evening, that's what we're doing here. We're either starting the day or for people on the other side of the planet, wrapping up the day together. And it speaks volumes about where you choose to spend your time and who you spend your time with. When it's positive, creative people, it does affect the flavor and the color of the day. You know what I'm saying? Comic talk with Pops. Hey, what's up, Pops? Good to see you here. And yes, hey yo, yourself, absolutely. Let's see here. Yeah, super grateful for CG, says Jeremy, my brother. Absolutely. I thought I was done with comics till this whole thing started. Absolutely. Yeah, man, meeting Simon Bisley was amazing. And yeah, Simon is I love his stuff so much. I've got his stuff kicking around. I know I say that to you all the time, but I've got his book. I don't know exactly where it is, but I've got Slain and I've got The Art of Simon Simon Bisley with it's the blue cover where the girl's got the pink or red hair, I think it is. And it's a really great book. Although I've got a very beat up used copy. He needs another art book out there, or if he has one, you need to let me know where I can get it because I need a definitive book of his work because the ones I have are just in rough shape. I can only get them used; they're fabulously expensive. But there are some books that he's done that are like there's this one book, it's almost like this crazy cartoony Frazetta he does, where it's like, this piece with a tiger in it, and it's so cool. God, I love when he does stuff like that. And then there's another one with a warrior standing with some kind of warthog creature. I love Bisley stuff, man. That stuff is so cool. And of course, the Christmas paramilitary special. I remember that one from when I was a kid in school. I loved that book so much. Such a great book. Let's see here. Let me adjust my glasses here again. Sorry, guys. It's moving on me. My glasses, not the chat. Yeah, morning pops. People saying Frog G saying, yeah, everybody's saying hello to pops. Jealous that art of Bisley's is expensive. Yeah, absolutely. He just did a Kickstarter last year for a sketchbook. I got to show it to you. Yeah, you do. Absolutely. We should do a stream and or even if it's not live, we should do a book share thing, man. Cause I'd love to check out, some of the books you have. We've done it a few times on stream, but yeah, I'm looking at my copy of Slain over there, which is such a beautiful book. It's a great, example of what painted comics can be, and I want to try to get some of the energy into this stuff right now. And then, God, where's the other book, The Art of Simon Bisley. I love that book, the blue covered one. I wish I knew where it was, but Frazetta has been probably my biggest influence of the last, decade. But in particular, it's gone into overdrive with my art book starting a couple of years ago. Love that stuff. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Look at all the love in the chat. I love to see it. Oh, I got to go do the thing. You all have a great day. You too, pops. Have a great day, my friend, and take care, brother. We'll see you soon. Yeah, morning LCH. Absolutely, guys. Yeah. So the potential crisis with your sister-in-law has passed now, hopefully. I don't think it's passed, but my wife sent me a message that's so funny because she knows how I operate. She's like, she may need to call you. And then she sent me a message that says, but don't call her. You know how it is. Everybody knows how this stuff works, right? It's so my wife and I are the people in our family that when people need somebody to chat to, or we're the person, you know what I mean? Like my mother-in-law, when my father-in-law passed away, I told my mother-in-law, I said, I'm giving you a coupon and I loved my father-in-law, I love my mother-in-law to bits. I said, for 1 year, you can call me every single day you want to. If you're having trouble getting out in the morning, you can call me every single day. No guilt, just call me every single day. And then she said really made her happy, and she was really emotional. And I looked at her and I said, what's going to happen at the end of that year? And she said to me, it was really cute. I said, what's going to happen at the end of that year? And she goes, you're going to give me another coupon, aren't you? And I said, goddamn right I am. That's how that is, guys. That's how that is. You got to be there for people. It's everything. Absolutely everything. And that's what we got to do. It's I was listening to somebody talk about this, and I do think it's somewhat true, is that, you don't know everything about people when you see them streaming, but I will say that it's really hard to maintain a lie when you spend this much time talking to people. Like you really can't do it. You're either in it or you're not. And I do think that, I can understand why certain people in the community who've been burned and been through a lot of tough things have trouble trusting people. But I do think that what you find is that when you get to know people over time, nobody can maintain a false face for very long, and we get to know each other, and we have empathy, and so we get, we break bread, as it was so well said. Let me just see here. Blah, 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 so blah, blah. Hi pops, yeah, hi Nick. Everybody's saying hello. I'm gonna try Black and White Comics. Oh my god, I love Black and White Comics. Mighty Geek Studios. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, good on you too, brother. Yeah, Frog G. Later, all time to hop off to bed. Yes, get some sleep, my friend. Sleep well and have a great night. And John is saying, "See you, Frog G." Yeah, my favorite comic I was looking at the other day. My favorite Black and White comics of all time is the Graphics Duo Shade valued. I wish they still made Graphics Duo Shade, guys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original series by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird. In fact, I look at that book as a standard in so many ways that I think a lot of people in CG should look at, because it's a 40-page book that was a standalone. They never thought it was going to lead to a bigger series, and it created one of the biggest pop culture phenomenon just by two independent creators. They did it with a check for, I think it was under $2,000. It was 1,400 or $1,300 to print up that black and white comic book. Which I don't know what that would be adjusted for inflation, but we have the kind of, crowdsourced funding to make the next great pop culture. And the more stuff that we make and the more stuff we deliver on, the more of a chance that we're going to be doing that, we're going to see. And so, yeah, we're creating the next generation of superheroes, pulp characters, supernatural characters that can bring in that next audience and grow something big, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, Mirage TMNT is what got me into reading comics. It's what got me into reading comics too. It's the thing. I wish I could find it from here, but I'm like looking to see if I could. It's somewhere. But yeah, the original first graphic novel, wherever that is what got me into it. And I have right next to me, and I keep it next to me as a with all my CG books that are about to avalanche as a reminder. But this is the artist edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And what's great about it is it's got the layout pages of the entire book in here, guys. It's got the layout pages. It is so cool. I remember getting a lot of these books. Sorry for the noise there, guys. But it shows the pages without Zipatone, and it shows, or it's not Zipatone, sorry, without Graphics Duo Shade painted into it, and then it shows them with. How cool is this to see? Graphics Duo Shade, you can actually look it up. Graphics Duo Shade was it was a paper that came with two chemicals, and there was the single shade and then there was the duo shade. And duo shade, if you use the different chemicals, you could either get X's or you could get single hatches. So you could actually paint cross hatching with this activator chemical. And you can see a video of Peter Laird doing it on YouTube if you type in Peter Laird duo shade. But they destroyed the machine. The graphics company who made it destroyed the machine, although somewhere I'm sure the info exists. But I'll tell you something right now. If somebody came out with Graphics Duo Shade or something like Graphics Duo Shade now, I think it would be a huge hit for artists. It was like an industry standard thing in for illustrators. It is the coolest technique. I would do a black and white book tomorrow if I had Graphics Duo Shade. I mean that sincerely. Just to use it, I would do a black and white story. But look at the effect it does. There's the double hatching right there, and then there's the single hatching of the Graphics Duo Shade. And it is so cool. Guys, 40 pages to change pop culture landscape. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Look at how they painted this like ghost image of the ninja in the background with Graphics Duo Shade. How cool is that? I don't think it was any more toxic than using oils, to be honest with you. It was just like a developer fluid. And I don't think it was that bad, to be honest. Probably not that much more than ink, but I would have to ask somebody. I don't think it smelled like turpentine. That much I definitely could say. But it was industry standard. Every illustrator was using it. I mean, guys, come on. See, this is the kind of stuff. This is what gets me excited for the silhouette, Phil. Stuff like this, man. I mean, you want to talk about comics and you want to talk about art. You want to talk about the beauty of what we do. When I look at Kevin Eastman, his layout pages are amazing. I think Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman did great stuff. New England stand up. But this is one of those things to where I look at this book and I'm like, 40 pages is all you really need to throw down. I have the Dark Horse lead miniatures they did. It was the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle licensed product. Not Dark Horse Comics, but it was this other company, Dark Horse, that did miniatures. And Raphael is in this pose, and I have an unopened box of them up in my room. I had to get them. Isn't Duotone replicatable now with paint programs? It absolutely is. But I'm talking about all of it is, and the same thing goes with Screen Tone and Zipatone. But what I mean to say is, I would absolutely love to do it on paper, like have originals that were Graphic Duo Shade. There's something really cool about what those originals look like. It's not, and I'm not a Luddite. I'm not anti-digital. Please believe me, guys. I love digital, and it's totally replicatable. But man, Is it? Oh, you remember the? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's like Nico. I don't see a lot of people who remember them, and I loved those. I loved the Dark Horse miniatures. But look at the Shredder. I mean, they created this character. They created the Darth Vader of Ninja Turtle comics in the first issue. They also whacked him, but they didn't think this thing was gonna go anywhere. Look at this double page spread of this fight scene and how unbelievably cool. Look at that graphics duo shade. Isn't it beautiful? I just love art material so much, guys. I love this stuff, you know? And it's like this. Hang on a second, guys. I'm going to move the table here. I know this is dead screen time, but it's like, let me just see if I can find that thing because it's driving me crazy. I know I have it kicking around somewhere. There's the Arto biography. There's 2 more Ninja Turtles books. There's this one. I just wanted to see if I could find it somewhere. It's got a light blue. It's got a light blue spine, this book that I'm looking for right now. This is the ultimate in unprofessional, oh, there it is, unskilled streaming right here. But I will show you the very first comic book I held in my hands was a trade paperback. And, oh my Lord, oh, there we go. Like navigating all the trash in this place here. So this right here is the first trade paperback my friend Zachary Hartford Cullis brought into school. Loved this. I dreamed of being able to paint and do things like this, and now I can, which is so exciting. But I loved this painted cover by Kevin Eastman from 1986, and I just thought this was the coolest thing I had ever seen. I was like, this is so cool. Look at this. They're turtles, and they've got all these different ninja weapons, hence the name. And yes, these are the color ones. So these are colored on the inside. So the first ones I ever saw were the painted in color. And then I also picked up, I'm going to move, hold on a second, guys. I'm going to move this camera back just a little bit here so you guys can see my desk and see this. This right here is kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arto biography. And this has, there's gonna be so much boomerang happening now with me knocking things over, but that's what you guys pay for, you know. That's what you're here for. But it has got like thumbnails. It's the artist edition is definitely for artists who want to see, but this is kind of like everything, the licensing, notation from them, the dedication. This book is dedicated to Jack Kirby and Frank Miller from the first issue because that's who their big inspiration was. Shows behind the scenes of the movies, shows, I think, the designs for some of the miniatures, character designs. I mean, guys, this is like such a great book showing their process. And it shows you, I'm a huge fan of Richard Corbin. So here's a Richard Corbin painted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles piece right there, which I think is great. Let me see what it says here. Don't get paint on your books. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm actually, I just realized I'm rubbing the book on the painting I was just working on. I don't care, guys. It's going to be great. It dries, thankfully. But yeah, look at this stuff, guys. This is the kind of creativity that you see in CG right now. I will never forget this issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which guest starred Cerebus. Was super into that one. It was a time travel issue, and the cover was really cool on it. Really great painted stuff. And then in the back, yeah, here you go. There's the painting of the cover that's on the trade paperback. Not the best reproduction of it, but then it also shows the layout page for that. So when I'm working, there's this part of me that, and my books are all kind of a little bit oversized. They're not this big, but they're a little oversized and they're square bound. This is what it's about for me. It's about that love of comics and reading a trade paperback and being super into it. And it shows the behind the scenes. What you read the full Turtle story, Bisley did Body Count. Yes, I did. Absolutely remember that one. Loved it. Yeah, so many memories in this book. It shows the first drawings and they colored them of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was awesome. So when I sit down and I'm like working on my stuff, I'm thinking about, these kind of ninja warrior, vampires that I've got right here. They're if you look at them, you can sort of see some of that great pulp fun action because I need my my foot soldiers, my stormtroopers, my, warriors who have got to, be fodder for the hero to attack. And it's the same thing with, I want there to be characters that when you're reading them, they're little nods to all of these great kind of scary horror movies and things like that. But there's also that sense that if someone is stepping into this world to read my comic book, I want them to kind of have characters they love, have creatures and heroes and things that really give it a sense of a fun, playful world. So you've got characters that are kind of like, this is sort of like in my story anyway, the werewolf character that's going to be in this section of the story. And I got to adjust my camera again. Sorry, guys. There we go. The werewolf character that you're seeing in here, he's not just a werewolf. He's kind of like my Whistler character. If you think of a movie like Blade, or I don't want to say he's like Splinter. He's not that wise, but he's a character there that's kind of like looking after this guy a little bit too. He's kind of helped them. They've helped each other. A little bit of Mowgli, funny enough, but Jungle Book kind of thing. And I just love that idea. Maybe Bagheera is a really good way of thinking about him on certain levels. And so I really want to create characters that you care about when things happen to them, and that take you into that world. And bringing in this character who's kind of our Dorothy in Oz to look in and see this character and see his focus and see what he's what he's going through. Like, that stuff is really, really huge to me. And then a big gigantic dog that's kind of the that is this thing that he's able to open into the spiritual world because of the ritual that he had done to him. This is the part of him, in a sense, that manifests in that world that's kind of trapped on the other side. And this is the form that it takes. So this world, I have spent a lot of time thinking about it because I'm so passionate about it, because I love it. It's more like, if people were asking me about genre, I love pulp. I love kind of like certain aspects of horror. As Guillermo del Toro says, which I really agree with him, I like the aesthetics of horror, but I'm not as into the mechanics of it, which is a good way of putting it. I'm much more into the pulp action thing. But this is going to be a story that it's everything that Comicsgate can be. Well, I should say this. It's everything that I can bring to Comicsgate, because I think every Comicsgater I know is doing something in a book that is covering new ground, which is what I love, is that there's some crossover, but then there's also stuff that we've never imagined before. But if someone were to tell me what genre does Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fall into, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is it a ninja story? Yes. Is it a mutant story? Sure. Is it a superhero story? Absolutely. Do they have a secret base? Yes. Do they have a mentor? Mm-hmm. Do they have a supervillain? Yes. Do they have, like, what could you not do? Do they have space stories? Yeah, with the Fugitoid and all that? Sure. Triceratons? Yeah. Gladiator stories? Absolutely. There's nothing that cannot be done if you build your world expansive enough. And I don't do it just so that it's generalized. I have very particular ideas. Is this story about redemption? Absolutely. Is it about heroism? Yes. Is it about is it about family? Yes. Like, it's everything, guys. But it's not like trying to be everything to all people. It's very concentrated in what I see, when we go into Comicsgate streams. A lot of different people doing a lot of different stuff, and a lot of passion on the page. And I love Comicsgate. I love all of you guys. Thank you guys for being here. It's been a really fun stream, guys. I'm gonna try to do more of this stuff. I got to wrap up though, because my headphones are dying, and I got to do a ton of different things. But I want to make sure I take some time to say to you guys, if you haven't backed No Sparrow yet, the link is in the description. I would appreciate, my wife would appreciate it, our family would appreciate you backing it, and I want you to back it because it's going to be great, and I'm going to make a great book for you guys. But I will tell you this, even just sharing out the link, even just subscribing to this channel, everything you do helps. If you can't afford it, if you're like, look, or, there's so many great things out there to be looking at. And I know sometimes money is tight, but I want you guys to know this, is that I appreciate you just being here, and supporting this community. And for every Comicsgater and every project you've supported, I thank you for that because it's made it possible for me to come in here and be in this thriving community. You guys are awesome. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys are great. So I'm gonna wrap up the stream now, guys. Thank you guys so much. Stay gold. You guys do stay gold. Let me tell you. And I will talk to you guys soon. There's some great stuff out there. Have a great day. Have a great cup of coffee. Get some fresh air, and enjoy yourselves. All right, Skip Edwards. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother. And I will see you guys soon. Okay. Yeah. Please do. Yeah. You guys are awesome. And I really do appreciate it. You guys are making stuff happen every single day. And thank you, Phil. Phil, we'll touch base later today, brother. I'll send you a message on Twitter. Keep me posted on everything. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, Nico. Thank you so much. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Nico. That means the world. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys. Take care. Have a great one. And I will see you guys soon. Peace and love.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?